Hi everyone, my name is Adam and I will be your speaker today. Today we will be talking about impacts. So what comes to mind when we say the word impacts? Well, in English language, impacts refer to the result of an action or an event. It could also have other connotations such as crashing or landing, but the main definition we will be talking about today is simply the effect of an action. And in order to have an effect, we must have a cause. Now let's take a look at a few examples. COVID-19 causes mask mandates. COVID-19 is a warrant, whereas mask mandates is the impact. If you don't understand the word warrants, make sure to check out our video on warrants here. In this example, we can say that mask mandates is the impact of COVID-19 because COVID-19 causes mask mandates. Since mask mandate is a result and an effect of COVID-19 because mask mandates are required to prevent the spread of COVID-19, we can say that mask mandates are an impact. Let's try the second example. World War II resulted in millions of deaths. Here, World War II is the warrant, whereas millions of deaths is the impact, because World War II resulted in millions of deaths. Now, we will be moving on to impact weighing and impact calculus. The definition of this is the comparison of impacts through considering scope, timeframe, otherization, magnitude, probability, and others. So the next thing we're going to be talking about is scope. Scope refers to the amount of people and objects that an impact affects. For example, due to loose mask mandates, millions of people contracted the COVID-19 virus and millions were hospitalized. In this case, this impact has a large scope because there were millions who were affected by the virus. The second thing we'll be talking about is timeframe. Timeframe simply refers to the timing of an impact. For example, climate change is said to have a short or no timeframe at all because it is happening right now. The next thing we will be talking about is otherization. Otherization refers to actions related to marginalized and oppressed groups of people. For example, China killing Muslims should be prioritized over conventional interstate war since violence committed against Muslims is an act of xenophobia or racism. The fourth thing we will be talking about is magnitude. Magnitude refers to the scale or size of an impact. For example, the US dropping atomic bombs in Japan in 1945 had a large magnitude since it killed hundreds of thousands of people. Whereas, a small mosquito stinging me had a small magnitude because it only slightly affected me. Note that the difference between magnitude and scope is that magnitude refers to the severity of an impact, which is talking about to what extent are people hurt. Whereas scope refers to how many people are hurt. And the last thing we'll be talking about is probability. Probability refers to the likelihood of an impact occurring. For example, Taipei 101 falling because of an earthquake has a low probability because it has amazing security measures. However, Taipei experiencing an earthquake has a high probability because Taiwan is on a fault line. So to tie this all together, we get the acronym STOMP. Scope, timeframe, otherization, magnitude, and probability. We will use these 5 main ways to evaluate impacts. And now we will be going on to weighing, which is the comparison between 2 impacts to determine which one is more important. In order to weigh impacts, we use the word outweigh, which means to be more important or to have more weight. In argumentation and refutation, we use the word outweighs in impact comparisons to argue that one impact is more important than the other, and one impact should be prioritized over another. This way, we can say things like, nuclear war outweighs economic decline for reasons X, Y, and Z. These X, Y, and Z are warrants. Remember that you also need warrants as to why one impact can outweigh another. So let's set a scenario for us to evaluate. Impact 1 has a magnitude of 1 billion deaths with a probability of 10%, and it will happen next year. Impact 2 has a magnitude of 10 people per day, and the probability is 100% because it is happening now. Which one should be prioritized? One could argue that impact 1 outweighs because it kills 1 billion people. Well, someone could argue that there is only a probability of 10%, meaning more likely than not, the impact 1 will never happen. One could also argue that the second impact outweighs because killing 10 people per day will eventually kill more than 1 billion people, meaning we should prioritize saving 10 people per day before we prioritize 1 billion deaths. So since now you've understood most of the concepts in this lecture, let's play a game. Compare the impacts here. Compare the left to the right and determine which one is more important, and comment down below what you think. We're all interested to see what you have to say. Thank you for attending today's lecture. and we hope to see you in future videos.